the time my mom's boyfriend tried to kill me. So when I was 13, my mom was dating this guy who was 10 years younger than her. He was literally closer to my age than hers. He was a complete bum. He didn't have a job or any type of income. My mom completely took care of him. It was basically like she adopted another child. It was so horrible, y'all. Like, this dude ate up all of our food. He drank all of our juice pouches. He sat in the living room and played video games all day, farting and eating snacks. Like, it made our living room stink. It smelled like Cheetos and Funky Toes. But that's not the worst thing about him living with us. He used the restroom 50 times a day. He told us he had a medical condition called bad guts. We stayed in a 2-bedroom apartment and we only had one restroom. But what was the last straw was this dude tried to kill me. Stay tuned for part 2. Okay, back to my mom's boyfriend staying with us. So my mom used to work during the daytime, very long hours, and I would get home from school before her. One day, right before winter break, our school let us out early. So instead of getting out of school at 3, I came home at 12, and her boyfriend was not expecting me to get home this early. So I walk in the house and I noticed he was not playing the game like usual. I went in the back and he wasn't home. So I was like, yes, finally I have the house to myself. So I go in my room. And a few moments later, I hear the door opening and it's him coming in the house. But I'm not minding it. But then I hear a female's voice giggling. And I'm like, I know my mom is not home this early. So I keep quiet and pretend I'm not home. And I kid you not, this dude brought another woman in my mom's house. Like, the nerve, the audacity of this bum to be cheating on my mom in her own house while she's out working hard taking care of him. So I hear my mom's bedroom door close. Yes, y'all, he takes the girl in my mom's room. So I come out of my room and open my mom's door, and there he was. Part 3. So I bust the door open like, what you doing with a girl on my mom's bed? And the girl was like, your mom's bed? She was asking him what's going on. And I was like, you need to leave. And the girl got her stuff and left. And he looked at me and ran towards me and tackled me on the floor. And I'm trying to push him off of me. And he was like, you better not tell your mom what happened or I will kill you. So I started screaming and he covered my mouth and asked me, was I going to tell my mom what happened? And I started shaking my head, no. And then he uncovered my mouth and got up. And that's when I ran out the house. I ran to my neighbor's house and called the police. I told them that he threatened to kill me. So when the police came, they escorted him out of our house. I ended up telling my mom what happened, and she was so mad and said to me, how do you manage to drive away every good man that I meet?
A few years ago, I lost control of my car while driving down a super steep, super icy hill, and at the bottom of the hill, there were all these cars piled up that had crashed into each other because they had also lost control. And I thought, I don't want to hit the people, so I'm going to drive into that person's yard and hit their tree. But the one time in my life that I tried to jump a curb on purpose, my car was like, nah. And I bounced off the curb, spun around on the ice, and then slammed back into the curb, facing uphill on the wrong side of the road. I was like, I'm alive! And then I saw a huge truck, you know, the kind with the love handles on the side. He was barreling down the hill, also out of control, straight towards me. And I was like, oh no, I'm dead. I remember specifically thinking, I didn't think I'd go out this way. But the truck had the same thought process I did, and he jumped the curb, slammed into the tree. And ever since that day, I have been scared of driving in the snow. My whole family makes fun of me for it. They were making fun of me for it last winter. We were all having dinner together, except for my youngest brother who was out snowboarding. And he called us from the ski resort place, and he said, I have been injured, and I want Katie to come pick me up. And of course, my mother was like, help is on the way, dear. And he said, no, I want Katie to come pick me up. I said, oh, Mom, he probably just doesn't want to take you away from the family on Christmas. But on the inside, I was like, ha-ha, loser. losers. Who did he pick? Me. Not you, not Hermione, me. Who's the favorite sister? I am. Suck it. I said, I'm coming to get ya, and then I continued eating my dinner, because in my defense, the damage was already done, and I was eating wings, but my family was like, no, Kate, you have to go now, so I abandoned my wings to the vultures that are my family, hopped in my car, drove 2 miles an hour through a snowstorm to rescue baby brother. My big brother was in the car with me, and he kept saying, can't you drive faster? And I was like, I don't want to die. There were cars and ditches leading all the way up to the ski resort. I kept having to roll down my window and say, listen, I'm just here to pick up a body. I'm not going to ski. We get baby brother, we take him to the ER, and I said, I'm really flattered that you picked me out of the whole family to come pick you up. And he said, oh, I just know you drive the slowest in the snow, and you'd be the least likely to panic and die coming to pick me up. And that made me really happy too, because it was the first time in my life anybody had ever nominated me least likely to panic. I'm always panicking. And I said, you know what? After all this, I'm going to get you ice cream. But baby brother is 6'5" and built like a lumberjack. I think he's 6'5". He always says he's shorter than he is because he's a few centimeters shy of 6'5". And he's like, I don't want to be that guy who lies about his height. And I try to explain to him that after you clear 6'3", everyone's too scared to call you on your height. This Thor-looking mother trucker looked at me and said, I don't really do ice cream. And I was like, and he said, I mean, yes, could you please buy me some ice cream to make me feel better? And I said, yeah.
I found out I was pregnant in the craziest way. So I never had morning sickness, no cravings, and I was still on my period. So, I'm out here living my life. I didn't think I was becoming a mother. But there was like that one little thing because I felt off. But the reason I felt off was because I had diarrhea for like 2 months. And we had just come from a trip from Cancun. So I was like, maybe I ate something, food poisoning. But that mud would not go away. And I was like, what is this? So they tested me for my thyroid. They tested me for everything. And I was like, bro, what is wrong with me? So anyways, I'm out here thinking I'm dying and stuff. And they're like, nope, you pregnant. If it wasn't for diarrhea, I would have never known I was pregnant because I didn't even show. So that when I get diarrhea, I'm like, hold up.
This is why you should always lock your front doors. A kid living with both of his parents decided to watch a movie for their family weekly movie night. He then gets up to use the restroom. As he is in the restroom, he sees all of the power in the house cuts off. And then he hears 2 loud thumps. He locks the bathroom door and hears heavy objects being dragged across the hallway. The kid, freaking out, runs out of the bathroom and runs into the restroom. Once he is inside the room, he locks the door. As he locks the door, he jumps in bed and acts like he's asleep and hopes that this person who is in the house will ignore a child sleeping. He closes his eyes and hears the door creak at the same time. He squints his eyes and sees a man with no eyes dragging the bodies of both of his parents. The man dragging his parents sits his mom's dead body in a chair facing him, and then sets the dad's body on the floor facing up. It was almost like whoever was in the house who killed them wanted him to see it. He then sees the man writing something on the wall and then climbs under his bed. He laid there for hours knowing that if he moved a muscle he would end up just like his parents. He finally built up enough courage to read the wall, and the writing on the wall said, I know you're awake.